Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hi again. So 5 minutes past 5. So we're starting now. Okay. Nice to see you again. Smile and shine. I hope nobody's sick and nobody will be sick from coronavirus, and futurepreneurs will survive. Yes. Yeah. So this is the first workshop run by Futurepreneurs today. We had introduction to sustainability and problem solving. We had minimal viable product, and today we're gonna have customer value proposition and some selling aspects. So to enhance your abilities to communicate with your potential clients and customers, so we invite Darius Mockevičius. Yeah, that's right, from Foris Consulta. So we know him for a while, and he knows us for a while, so we want to share his experience. And so feel free to ask about customers. Yes, so welcome, floors, Darius.
Yeah, thank you. It is nice to meet you, so many people here and interested about sales, ideal customer value proposition, and etc. So it is, and of course, thank you, Futurepreneurs, for inviting me and speaking here. One thing to notice, I had a terrible headache, so hopefully I will not be very boring for you today. If I'm boring, just raise your hand and say it, not be so boring. Okay, so let's start. Today we'll speak about ideal customer profile, customer value proposition, and meetings with foreign customers. So this is totally sales process, different steps which we will cover. Yeah, so let's move on. So first of all, who I am, I come from Foris Consulta, which is a company helping various businesses to find key customers abroad, usually Western countries, Scandinavian countries, Northern America, and then similar Western European markets. These are just shiny examples of what type of customers we brought to our customers. I myself, I have been lucky to be involved in very different business deals, from huge ones to actually very small ones. But I don't know, I have been selling small deals, for example, our services to Danish companies. So is there anyone from Denmark here? Nope. Good. So, for example, Danish people tend to be and tend to feel and tend to think about themselves as very good salespeople. So it's whenever you come from Eastern Europe and you're selling sales services to them, they are looking, look, we know Eastern European for cheap labor, outsourced cost, but you're selling us like sales for us, like we're good salespeople. So yeah, I have this various different experience with sales processes and sales meetings in different countries, so hopefully I'll share them. If you have any questions, raise your hand during the presentation, and yeah, hopefully it will be interesting for you. So except of these two topics, which are ideal customer profile and customer value proposition, we will also discuss how to prepare for the meeting. Not only tickets, bookings, and rentals as written, because sometimes companies see that way. Then we will go to the participation in the meetings, what will be important, how to participate and not only have fun while speaking with foreigners, and tasks after the meeting. So this is very important part, because after the meeting, usually salespeople are the ones who are working and having follow-up steps. So we want our customers to do follow steps as well. So we'll touch this topic later on. Just before starting, because we're going to speak about sales and different sales processes. So there's 3 core assumptions I would like to start with. So does anybody knows where this funny gift comes from? Yeah, and does anybody know what exactly happening here? Yeah, and how he's making that? Yeah, closing. In what type of manner? Enthusiastic. I would add on that. He's manipulating, he's lying, he's selling low value penny stocks for high value product. So he's making manipulation to reach his goal. So actually sales are being perceived by many people as the area where you win and you close the deal while manipulating others. So just before starting this, core assumptions I would like to make. I do that in my way of work, and I always see that the most professional, successful salespeople usually have these three core assumptions in their sales process. So added value to your customer. I'll not speak that much about it, but it's very important that your service, product, or whatever you're selling should have strong value added. Otherwise, it's like, I mean, you shouldn't do that. No place for manipulation. Once again, what we've seen in Wolf of Wall Street, only honest actions and believing in yourself, in your company and in your product or service. So many times I see people coming and selling things, but don't actually believing either in themselves, in their products, or in their company. So how does it look to your potential customers? It looks like, I don't know why you're here if you don't believe yourself, right? So we will start with ideal customer profile, and I have been lucky to work with a lot of businesses, and specifically in Baltics, and these are usually a bit older generation people, and whenever I ask them, how would you describe your target customer? Who's your best customer? How they look like? So this is the answer. Those who are paying money. So that's very funny, right? So those who are paying money are our customers. Actually, there's like, I don't know how many, over 7 billion people in the world, so, and they have different amount of money, some of them lower, some of them higher, so everybody can be your customer, right? So we as a business owners or salespeople are lucky enough to choose who we're going to work with. We are not tend to work with everybody, right? Because if we work with everybody, then it doesn't make sense what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing, doesn't bring exact value to specific target customer. So since this is a type of workshop, and I know that you guys are in teams, or at least representatives of teams, so we will do customer targeting or ideal customer profile selection with your cases. So this will be 10 minutes exercise where you will be asked to do ideal customer profile either for B2C or B2B. So for B2C you can focus on demographics, location, gender, age or income or others, experience, education, career path, jobs, behavior, preferences, lifestyle, and others. If you are focusing for B2B, then size of the company, revenue, geographic scope, type of business industry, ideal contacts, and budget. So if you will have any questions, let me know, but this is an exercise for you, and I guess a couple of you will have a chance to share afterwards how does your ideal customer profile look like. So do everyone have to write with?
We will give you shortly, just those, I will give a piece of paper, yeah.
So 10 minutes. Couple of minutes left, so keep on finishing your notes. Okay, I believe everyone is finished and speaking. So we will need 2 volunteers for B2C, one and another one for B2B to share their ideal customer profile. So who will be the bravest and the cleverest to do that?
Don't be shy.
We needed to have an example just to see how you identify that. So feel free to share it. It's better than very good.
It's B2B profile, size 500 and more employees, revenue 1 million and plus. The best region, Western EU or North America. Business type, engineering and automotive. Thank you. Ideal contacts, so I separated. Decision makers should be chief executives, and directors, influencers should be project managers, chief of R&D or project coordinators, and champions basically could be almost anybody in this case. And the budget preferences, I haven't understood this very clear, but I just wrote 3,000 euros plus deals. You know, the ideal customer should be in B2B.
So just can you give us a brief introduction of what type of business idea or business yourself you're going with for these big size companies?
Yes. Honestly, I joined a new company 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to build outbound sales department. We are B2B SaaS company, and we offer project management system and team management system for them.
Okay, great.
So this is rightly according to the customer profile.
Okay. Does anyone wants to add something for the idea and this ICP? I think the question was about the size. I had a question. So how many employees you said?
500 plus.
And the turnover?
Million plus.
Million plus, okay. I'm not sure about this one because 500 probably and million, so it will be definitely, if there is 500 people in the company, probably they will be like generating much more than the million.
Exactly.
Just as an idea. Okay, great, thanks for sharing. So anyone else to share specifically for B2C? What would be nice to hear? Okay, so who is, just raise your hand, who is having the business or business idea for B2C? Okay. Very, very not brave hand. So would you like to share it with us? Okay, great, thanks.
The case is the dental clinic, small dental clinic. The demographics is location is Vilnius and surroundings of Vilnius. Gender, it's 60% it's women and 40 men.
Okay, just to interrupt, what type of business idea or business itself you're willing to go for these dentists?
The marketing services.
Okay, awesome.
the income it's 1,000 euro per month. Experience education it's higher education, and career paths is like in the industries, leading companies, maybe from the service industries, and their jobs study like specialists and managers. Jobs and travels like common, ordinary destinations.
Okay.
Preferences, motivation, maybe more for health, life orientated, not so sensitive for price, and prefer frank communication from the medicine doctors, and lifestyle ideals, family, green, eco-friendly, maybe yoga or etc.
Okay, that's great. You know, I have been actually working on this startup, helping for this startup, and they were identifying their B2C customer, and when they finished it, identifying, they put the name on it. It was like, I don't know, Sam or something. So let's say Simas, your kind of dentist. And whenever you have an idea about developing your business, they say like, what Simas would do for this case? Would he be interested or not? So it's even, you can put a fun tag, putting the name on your target customer. So how many you believe these targets you can find around Vilnius you're looking for?
Repeat your question. What?
When you, when you will be filtering your potential customers, right, on these criteria, attributes you wrote down, how many you will think you can end up with? How many of these targets there can be? Just put a rough number. I believe it's very hard to estimate, but how many you believe there can be?
Maybe 500, I think, because it's small dental clinic.
Okay, 500. 500. That's still a lot. So for example, it depends how big products or services you're selling, but you should find out usually a bit lower number of targets you want to persuade. But because, for example, if you want to meet 500, I don't know, dentists, it will take several years to do that, right? If you have to do it, so you have to figure out a little bit lower number of targets, just as an idea.
Yes, we have. It's about 30 new clients per month.
30. Okay, that's
30,
awesome.
yes.
So it's one per day. So okay, so it's 500. Then you need a 1.5 year to figure out these 500. That's awesome. Yes. That's awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, so before me speaking about the participation in the meetings, we have a very last exercise for you guys, and what we are going to talk about, customer value proposition. And this must be understood very well, because when we talk about core assumptions in the very beginning, I said that there should be a value-added process, and you have to understand where you're adding value, how you're adding value. So there's a very simple formula here how you can do it. So let's have it 2 minutes and write out for what type of ICPs you just wrote down. Who's looking or challenged with, just write down any type of problem or need they have. And in the end, just write out what you have developed for them, and how that helps or how that improves their business. So just 2 minutes to do that, and we will also ask, we will ask a couple of people to share their notes. Thanks. Suktis, nes gali pasaudint. Yeah, please be finishing. Okay, Reikėvičiu. Okay, so who's finished, and who's finishing, please do that right now. And we'll ask a couple of you guys to share this one as well. So what is your customer value proposition in very simple, direct formula like this? So who would like to share it? And nobody's willing to share it. Maybe we can play any type of game. Oh, great, there's a hand. Awesome.
Okay. For inspirational and eco-friendly people who is challenged with overconsumption of water, we have developed the water estimation system AquaBuddy that controls their usage of water.
Okay, that's great. It seems that you came here prepared very well. Very good one. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, awesome. Marketing for dentists.
So for educated women and men 30 plus who are looking for high quality innovative dental services, we have developed Health Smile innovative dental treatments that helps to be happy in everyday life.
Okay, be happy. Very good. That's very good. Because in the last part, it's very important how you, what type of features you put in, but you have to understand that these features make some impact to your life, so they make you happy. What type of features make them happy? That's very important. I like asking questions of you. So what features will make them happy?
Health Smile.
Health Smile.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us more about it. Maybe you find some new clients here.
Health Smile, it means that all the treatments are done in a very innovative way, but saving your dental tissues, because you can make all treatments in bad quality or maybe in old school style, or not so well educated doctors who are doing the same all the year.
Okay, that's awesome. Very nice service you guys doing there. So, okay, so thank you for involvement. Now I'm going to be the one who will be speaking a bit more. So let's go to the meetings, and specifically I will share my experience with meetings with foreign customers. So I get this question quite often: does it worth going to meetings? I mean, nowadays when you can everything do by the distance. What do you think, guys? Does it worth going to meetings? Okay. Well, why does it worth then? Why does it worth then, you believe? Because many of my customers says, like, why can't we just manage these customers without any meetings, via email and, I don't know, via calls? Isn't it enough? And I don't know, there's a lot of younger people here, so those who are using Tinder, why do you go for dating? I mean, just you find person on Tinder, just write down and everything works well, then you decided to live together without any dates and meetings. So it's very similar in business as well, because if you want to find your important customers, so you have to go there to talk with them, to find some relationship and partnership, create trust on top of it. So first part, what we talk about in meetings is the preparation for the meeting. There are several questions you should ask yourself while going to these meetings, before going to these meetings. So why exactly this customer is meeting with you? Why with you? Why with nobody else? Why is it with you? Also, what insights will show your readiness? How you prepare for the meeting? How you show your attention to the customer? What are the client's strategic goals, opportunities, and threats? That sounds very like marketing type of things, but you have to understand their situation, their business environment. So what questions will you ask to deepen your understanding about the customer situation and needs? So this is, we will go a little bit further later on about the questions, but the questions are the more important part, I believe, more important part than pitching itself, for example, because I believe you are quite often seeing a lot of workshops, lectures, and a lot of these things for pitching, but not so many for the questions. And I don't know, it's very funny because if you just imagine, I don't know who you like to speak with, somebody who speaks about themselves a lot, or the one who's asking questions about you and asking, oh, how do you do, what type of things you do, how do you do it? So it's the same in business meetings as well. Pitching is important part, but not that important. Okay, what makes you exceptional? And of course, I just wrote down, please, no, not the price, because price is just, I mean, the end result of your added value product. How do you show what you do instead of talking? What makes your business great? So show examples, so show references of how you will show that to your customers. What objections your client might raise, I don't know, you might have, and how you will manage them. For example, I was going to mention to these Danish companies, and they usually said, like, you're coming from Lithuania, which is like a small company and does not have this huge experience for sales. So you just plan it up front. You say it like, yes, I understand that we are coming from this type of country, which is not having a huge tradition for sales, but what we do for your type of customers are this and these and these steps. And of course, what will be the next steps after the meeting? So what you will do and your customer will do after the meeting so that you will move on further in your sales process. So when is the meeting ready for you? So this is a very important question. Just before deciding if you really want to go for the meeting. So we use these 3 levels of qualification. We say it very simply. There are technical things which should match, which means your customer should have some technical needs for products which fits with which fits with your product. Another thing, you should be speaking with decision makers. In my experience, there many times happens that people just speaking with potential customers, and at the end of the day, they say like, look, my boss said it's not, we are not going to work with you. So why this is important? This is important because it means you have to involve decision makers in the very beginning of the meeting. So, for example, I myself usually asking, so this type of question, saying, let's say, Lars, I know that we are coming to you to meet you and to discuss a lot of questions, and it's important situation we're going to discuss. Is there anybody else involved in the decision process? And they usually say, yeah, there's Jan involved. So can you invite also Jan for the meeting, since we're not coming that often to Denmark? This is like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So this will help to avoid losing your deals a bit later. And of course, interest in cooperation. Interest is interesting word because it might mean a lot of things. But when somebody says that they are interested, you have to understand for what they are interested. Their interest to meet, to talk with you. Their interest to fill in their quota meeting with potential suppliers, or what. So these 3 qualifications shows whether you're ready for the meeting or you're not. That's how we qualify our potential customers for the meetings. So, structure of the meeting. who of you have already participated in different meetings with potential customers? Please raise your hands. Okay, good. So for the others, it will be also important notice. So have you ever had this experience that your customers, after speaking about a lot of different things, they just say, oh, I'm afraid we're out of time. Have you ever had this situation when you believe you have a lot of more to discuss, but you run out of time? Yeah, same here. Same here. So it is very important to prepare for the meeting and how you, okay, and how you do that is whenever you're going to meet high-stake customer, you share meeting agenda with them. I just put an example of my one, which I use, but you can figure out yourself. It depends how much time you have and so on. So, for example, for my customer saying, I'm sending this agenda, look, is it okay if we put our meeting in this agenda, which is mutual presentation, questions and answers, a discussion about RFQs, and agreeing on next steps. And they say, is it okay or not? But it's very important just for you and your customer to be on the same page, because there's a lot of different people who like speaking about themselves, and they can just screw entire the meeting while speaking what they do, what's important for them, but missing the very core parts for the productive meeting. And then we go to the, of course, the most important part is to the participation participation in the meeting. So, question for you: how should you feel after a good meeting? Everybody clapping for you, shouting, "Woohoo! Very well performed." How should be the feeling after the very good meeting?
After a good meeting is, after like a good date, as you compared before. It is a feeling that it's something really good upcoming, and it's going to continue, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
This is the main criteria, at least for me. I feel it's going to continue, it's good, and you have a feeling in the gut that the customer is going to select you.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And also, you have this feeling probably that's why, because you challenge the customer. You find out some pains and needs they have, right? Because I have this saying that there is no worse meeting than the one after which you're just in euphoria. So this means that very high stake or very big sales happens when you challenge your customers, when you're putting in uncomfortable situations. And then, of course, what you say after the meeting, when you put your customer to uncomfortable station, you feel that something might happen because you delivered some specific need which you might cover or might not, but then you believe that something might happen, right? Not because it was fun to talk with you, like we spent a lot of time speaking about kids, about weather, about a lot of things, but what specifically for business you challenged, right? So that's very important topic. And what is important at the meeting, I list down several things which are important according to me. So the meeting plan, similar what we discussed about sharing before the meeting, listening versus pitching, presentation, questions, and follow-up steps. So we will touch them now. So the meeting plan, it's usually very similar to the one you share with your customer, but you have to have some specific notes for yourself. As an example, mutual presentations, and then maybe the questions and confirming your understanding of client's business and its challenges. So you have it for your own. You don't write it like for the meeting agenda, but you have it for your own. And then you also think about possible solutions and expected results, or include request for quotation analysis. And yeah, maybe customers Q&As, agreeing on next steps, which we will talk a bit later on about. And listening versus pitching, I mentioned a little bit before. It's topic which I can speak a lot, because I have been going to numerous of meetings, actually, numerous, a lot of meetings with a lot of business owners, and what I usually see, that people just don't shut up. Look how great I am, I can do everything. What do you need? It's done before saying we can do this and that and that and that. And I mean, do you know that those people that they just start speaking about something and end up speaking about other things and a lot of these things further. So these are salespeople, standard salespeople. They do everything about everything everywhere else. So actually listening helps you understand better than pitching. Because you can pitch anybody, but if you don't understand the situation, we pretend or we believe that we understand the situation of our customers, but actually it's not really true. So more time you should be, I don't know, whenever I go with my customers for big stake meetings, I usually ask them after the meeting, how much time you believe you spoke and the other side spoke? Oh, they say like 50-50. No, it's 80-20. Because you were speaking how amazing you are. And it's not important. Everybody wants to hear how they are amazing, but not how the other party is amazing, right? It's a very simple human thing. So put more focus on listening and questions instead of pitching. You have to be pitch strong, but pitch short, not long. I mean, not pitch entire meeting about what you can do. And then presentations. There's a lot of ways to do this, let's say presentation or pitching, but I put not a lot of focus there. In my opinion, there's just a couple of things that makes the sale and because the presentation should also add some trust on the sales process. So there's very simple things which make trust. Humans, so faces. So faces can be either your people and your customers, as well as references, success stories, what you do. So I have this frame whenever I go for a presentation for a customer, which I use. So essential but brief information about the company, couple of sentences. Nobody cares how many years ago you were established, what you have been running through. So you have to be very precise and brief. Employee size, location, just to make the customer understand better where you're at. Then there goes the competencies, services, and products. And of course, there might be a lot of new businesses, but if you have strong reference cases, that should be the part where you speak most. Reference cases are the most interesting for your customers because then they decide, oh, if you put some value for your other customers and then companies, then makes sense working with you. Success and failure stories. So when I said there's a lot of people speaking about themselves too much, so success stories. How many success stories you believe you should share with your customer while meeting with them? Does anybody have an idea? 2? 1? Yeah, that's right. Because this is a very simple thing in human mind. It doesn't matter how many stories we hear, we understand their level just an average. What does it mean? I give you 2 amazing stories, 1 average story and 1 okay story. They understand that we deliver average success stories, right? So human mind just understand that it's average. So you just couple or 1 good success stories and run through. Also, the sales meetings are the ones when everybody understands that we want to show how we are good and we are not vulnerable and we are so amazing. So put on 1 failure story where you learn something, where it shows that you're also human, that you also make mistakes, and that's even more important than success story. And it's very important, of course, that from the failure story you show how you learned and then what improvements you made on. And then you show, you tell the ideal customer and the customer you don't want to work with. So you can always use success and failure stories to combine these 2. So this is very, very simple, but also precise for me whenever I go for a specific meeting, just to prepare about my presentation and it not to be too long, but precise and strong when it's needed. Yeah, and questions. So the questions and listening, as I said, are the 2 most important things in the meetings. Believe it or not, but these are 2 most important things. And people speaking about this a lot, but I'm not sure if there's a lot of people understand the significance of questions. Because the questions are the ones who are showing us whether we can be delivering something, how we can be delivering something, and if there's a chance to partner up. And not the level of questions, who are you working with, or I don't know, very generic questions. You should deepen understanding of your customer needs, core challenges, and related things. So what type of question techniques do you know, guys? At least those who have been involved in sales. Is anyone using any type of technique? Very good. So you have to learn it and to use it. So there's just a couple of examples. There's a lot of questions you can question techniques you can use it. I'm not the biggest fan, but there's a spin technique, so you can read it on the internet and then maybe watch some videos and understand it. But it goes very simple way. So you have to prepare several questions to understand the situation of your customer, what they're doing right now, who they're working with. I don't know what's the situation of them. Then you have to understand if and what problems they have. And I don't know what type of problems relating to your business or other problems in the company. And then you have to go to the questions which make implications. So for example, they have some specific problem which brings some implication for them. So for example, they are, I don't know, losing money or not earning money. So you have to raise the questions according to that. And the last part, you just include the questions which shows need payoff. So you understand the problem, and then you understand what implication it brings. So if you solve that problem, you put questions which shows that, I don't know, if we solve your specific problem, this means you will, I don't know, save additional 500,000 euros per year, or you earn some 200,000 more per year. So if we would speaking about questions, we would need 1 more hour, but invest your time in preparing your questions for the meetings, because real good questions shows how good professionals you are for your, I don't know, customers, investors, any type of businesses you are looking for, partner up. And during the meeting, in the end of the meeting, you have to agree on the next steps. So does anybody recall this type of picture when one person is working in construction and the rest is just watching it? And those who have been involved in sales, have you ever felt this way? Because I had. And there's very, very important note, because a lot of salespeople tend to work for the customer while the customer is not working, and they believe that the process is moving further. So for example, they go after the meeting, they send some information, there's no feedback from the customer, they call it, they say like, oh, I haven't time to review it, but I'll review it. You ask, maybe I can share something else with you. Oh, you can send me maybe your, I don't know, some references. Then you send references, there's no feedback. After 2 weeks you call, oh yeah, I haven't time to check it, but I'll check it, I'll do it. Maybe something else I can do it for you. Oh, maybe I can send you a draft of our agreement. Yeah, sure, do it. And in your mind, you're thinking, this customer is going through the further sales steps. Actually, the potential customer, is just doing nothing while you're putting all the work. So in the end of the meeting, you have to agree what steps you will be doing, what your customers will be doing. Sometimes it might feel that, how should I ask my customer to do something for me? But if they're really interested in working with you, and if you are delivering real value for them, they will do work for you, believe it. And steps and challenges after the meeting. So we go there. What should be next steps? What I always do, I send a summary of the meeting and next steps of both sides. I usually do it after 1 or 2 days. Why? Because I want to wait if they respond faster. Because if they respond fast after the meeting, this shows interest from their side, and it's good for me. So you have to send this information, and specifically about agreeing about next steps. And what is important, wait for the approval of the next steps. Once again, you don't want to be working alone. You want to be working together with your potential customers. And of course, it sometimes might be hard to get the approval, but you have to get it if everything's okay, if they agree on it. And then, very important part, comply with what you agreed. Do on time what you agreed. And be professionals, not the waste time of your potential customers. And the last part, keep in mind information gathered during the meeting. What are the client needs, what they prefer, not only focus on your sales process, but if your client prefers to get some specific added value, you have to be focusing entire time on it, not only wasted the time and energy on different things. And yeah, what if happens like this? You just call, you just write, and there's deadly calm, nothing on the other side. Does it happen for those who were involved in sales and had meetings and very good maybe meetings, but nothing happened when you just came back? Yeah, for me it happened many times. We learn from our mistakes. So I always say maybe it was a very good meeting, right? When everybody were clapping to you. It was fun to talk, but no business to do. So this is a very important topic, and what I always say, that no feedback is no feedback, my friends. So if you haven't get any feedback, if there's no answer, it doesn't mean that they're not interested. I have been, for example, we were for one of our customers, we are chasing. We are trying to work with Telia's CIO from Stockholm, so who's member of the board and who is responsible for IT matters. So we had to make 66 calls to talk 3 times. Haven't he been interested? No. The person is very busy, has a lot of meetings, has a lot of things, but it's on your responsibility to get the feedback and to move things further. So there's a lot of ways how you can try to do it. It's either via cell phone, office number, calling administrator, leaving a voice message, email, social network, do a lot of things. Just get the feedback. If they say no, woohoo, let's go take another one. But if there's no feedback, there's no feedback. It doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything. And also for the future, try to better understand for them during the meeting about their core pains, needs, and interest, and how you can solve their problems they're facing in. Because if you're not actually solving a problem, it makes sense that they're not willing to speak with you after the meeting. So these are core insights just to have it. Okay, and for the very last part, I would like to share, in my opinion, the biggest mistakes that happened in sales, investors, or another type of business meetings, when the salespeople or people looking for the investors to invest their money, what type of things they do. So once again, bad meeting arrangement. Not meetings arranged, not involving all the decision makers. And in this way, we just waste our time on traveling and meeting people and wasting their time as well. Pitch, 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 and now listen, never ask, just pitch. And then we go from the meeting and we see, oh, we told everything we had to, everything's good. Right? So that's a big issue in my opinion. Zero homework. So you haven't prepared analyzing your potential customers, analyzing their situation, preparing questions. You have to do these type of things. Once again, not preparing questions, not understanding customer real needs and challenges. So you have to ask these uncomfortable questions. There should be some situations in the meeting when some people, they feel uncomfortable. You feel uncomfortable. Because if there's real business, you have to find out how and when should happen, and usually you should put another side and yourself out of comfort zone just to find out if there is a real partnership possible. And of course, not agreeing on next steps, and you are the one who is working on after the meeting. So if you can take at least one of these and cross out of your meetings and just not do that anymore, that's a good thing. This is good thing to improvement. And if you're doing any type of these, guys, just stop it. My suggestion. Okay. When we go for the business meetings and sales meetings, there's a lot of literature, but I'm sharing a couple of books which I suggest to read for people who are looking for improve their skills, improve their understanding about the sales, business development, and all these type of things. So feel free to make a pictures of these and, I don't know, have a challenge to read at least a couple of these. So, questions. Thank you for listening. And okay, one more second for a photo. Oh, I'm fast. So, any type of questions about, I don't know, meetings? Yeah. Laurinas will help us.
So the question is, if your ideal customer, for example, not just one customer, but you still want to work with his network too. So is there some tricks how to do that? Not just working with customer, but with his network too.
As I said, I have this terrible headache, so might be a bit slow. Can you repeat the question?
So you make presentation for customer, everything is nice, and you start working. But your goal not just working with that customer, but working with his network too, business network. Is there any tricks how to do that? How to start working with them?
That's a huge question. That's very, very, very important question. So definitely, when you start working with your customers, you have to ask for referrals, which is a huge part. Then you say like, look, Laurinas, we're having this nice business we're working on. I'm doing good, you're doing good while working together. Do you know anybody else who might benefit from what we do? Is there anybody from your network? Do you know somebody?
Yes, I know.
Laurinas.
That will cost you a bit.
But he's not interested, I see. He's like, and it seems I'm not delivering good value for him while working, right? But it's an important question. You have to ask for referrals all the time. It's either you start working with or you're not. They say like, I'm not interested. Okay, that's fine. But you now understand what I'm doing. Who you believe we might be a good solution to? Give me I don't know. I know many companies. Okay, give me one. Give me one. One is enough. Yeah. It might, but also if you should ask it maybe during the meeting as well. So it's a very important question because referrals are a very strong part for generating our leads. It's another topic, but it's a very good question you raised actually. Any other questions?
I'm so far from sales, but I haven't got the point of questions. But I never saw like when a salesman is asking questions. Usually, like customer asks questions to salesperson. So, what is the sense of questions in sales? Can you explain more about questions?
That's a good question, and that's a good example because usually customers asking questions, and that's customers should ask questions. They show their interest. But in sales, why you should ask questions? Because you need to. We had this spin technique as a shortened example, right? So you have to understand their situation. If we identify that there are 500 dentists, right, who are in Vilnius who might be our potential customers, we have some questions to figure out if they're fitting our ideal customer profile. We have to understand if our solution is good for them, what problems they're facing, what we can add on top. So these comes only from questions. And actually, if there's a very simple question. Whenever you're speaking with somebody, who is in control of conversation? Who's in control of conversation when you're speaking with somebody? Yeah, the one who's asking questions. Yeah, and silent, but who's asking questions? Look, so if your customer is asking questions, doesn't mean a good thing actually. Either if you're selling not a strong added value product, so it's okay, you have a low price and you win it. But if you are asking questions, you're controlling conversation, and you're controlling what we said. Like the meeting will not run out of time because you have to ask questions. Questions. I mean, I don't know. Questions are very important part. You're meeting with your friends. You're asking questions. You make them important. You make them understand your situation and bond stronger with you. Not asking questions by them or about you, right? So they're similar. Any other questions? One more.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for presentation.
You're welcome.
I'm interested. I did a homework for the ICP, right? And then you talked about the meeting itself. How do I go from having an ICP to booking a meeting with someone?
Yeah, that's a good point because these are some stages of sales process, right? So when you have ICP and you understand your customer value proposition, then you actually have to go and list your targets. I don't know, 500 dentists once again along Vilnius, or anybody else to have your list of targets. You have to approach them somehow, some way, and then you just end up with the meeting. So there's actually, you're right, there is some gap in this. It was just the core I wanted to share, but between this ICP, you have to list them actually. What are your targets? You have to approach them in some way. It's either calling, emailing, I don't know, going to conferences, any type of approaching. And then whenever you figure out and qualify it in three levels, then you go for the meeting. So yeah, you're right. There is a gap in this type, and these are only different parts of the sales process. So more questions?
When meeting is okay, everything is done, questions are asked, and you have feeling that it's not your target group. For example, you don't have enough money to pay for your services, or they share other values, you don't like this. How to finish nice and to say, oh, how nice, but actually I don't like to work with them. But I want the client to feel good and didn't understand it.
So, if I understand correctly, you are the one who's not willing to work with them,
Yes.
but they would like to work with you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, but do they have this money to pay?
But I feel they don't have money, or maybe the input of my time and resources will be much higher than I would like to do.
Well, my suggestion is like we all have competitors. So with some of them, we have strong like relationships, strong communication. With some, maybe not. Depends. So I usually have like, whenever I go, for example, services are relatively, actually very high in value. And whenever I go for the company and I see like it's a very small company and they struggle and they might pay us money, but I mean it's too big part from their turnover. So we usually say like, guys, for type of your business, maybe you should use, I don't know, any type of different alternatives, cold calling or whatever type of supplier. So usually just refer to somebody else because you see it, you should be honest. Honesty, what do we said? No tricks, no other things, just be honest. Like saying, from what I see and from my experience, I see that for you, we might not be the best solution, but look, our competitors are. And what does bring? They show that you are honest, they should trust you, and when the time is right, and maybe they refer somebody to you, or maybe come back to work with you. So be honest and refer to somebody you trust. You have to refer to somebody you trust. Because if you refer to somebody you don't and they screw up also you in the customer's face. So, yeah, anybody else? There's one more. Lorinas is running.
Very good, very good.
It's late evening workout for Lorinas.
Thanks. How to feel confident when you're pitching for, are you meeting the client that's really big, that's really influence, who has big influence? How to feel confident?
Your question is how to feel confident, right? Whenever you go to high-stake meeting with very important people, very important. Look, I always have deep breathing before that. Helps a bit, but because, I mean, usually understand it. It's hard to do it. I understand what you say. But look, if you just think out, if you are having the right solution and product that might benefit them, you don't have, and they might benefit from it, right? And you are not willing to push it anyway, anyhow, you're just trying to check it, understand it if you have a kind of mutual solution. and you are and them are both are who are going to will, it makes sense. Like, you shouldn't be worrying about something. You're meeting simple, I don't know, ordinary people. I remember myself, actually, a few months ago, I was meeting one of the Norwegian billionaires, and I was like thinking, damn, who am I? Who am I in all the presence of this person? And he's like shiny person in Norway. But in the end of the day, he's normal person. He just want to talk with you, understand it for you, if you're bringing. So, of course, breathe before and understand that there's no stronger, higher people. They're all similar ones. And don't want to sell it like anyway. I want to sell you anyway. Just try to find out if you can work together. If not, it's maybe suggest some other your competitors. But confidence comes with time and practice. And you have to practice, meet people, and trust yourself. Somebody else?
Hi.
Hi.
Let's say I already had a meeting with my client, and what would be the steps of communication when a meeting was good, and what should be the steps of communication when a meeting was bad?
By good, you mean that you
like terrific, like they will sign and etc.
And the bad?
And the bad, for example, you don't know whether they will sign or not.
But you believe that you can add value for their services and products, right?
Yeah.
So you believe there's a fit, but it seems that they are not believing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the first case, I don't know if it's going good, so you go through entire simple process. You share the information, follow up, they are interested, you're interested, so it's very easy. When it's bad, so it's probably the more interesting question, right? So there's different strategies how to do it. It depends on timing, if you have one or you don't. If you have one, I suggest just to say that, look, I believe that we might work together, but we should step back a bit and come back to the conversation a bit later. And not to rush it. So, and maybe you meet them next time and you say like, yeah, last time we had some questions, some doubts raised. Right now, let's reopen the questions we discussed, right? And to check if there's any changes. If there's a time pressure, I don't know, you have to think about how you should push it. Maybe you should find some references of your customers who might, call them or help you somehow there, or some people who might, you can send leverage. So you have to create trust, right? So if you have a short time for that, it's hard. So maybe you have to, once again, maybe share some references, etc. But it might be hard if there is a time limit, of course. So I hope I answered your question. Thanks. One more. Let's make Laurina's run again.
Easy one.
Okay, love easy ones.
To lower your headache. What do you love the most about sales, about your job? Tell me.
One thing I mentioned, I was going to the meeting with a high-stake person, which I never believed of going. Networking, meeting people, learning from them. Being influenced by them, knowing your network, and that's amazing. You just meet new people, and they help you to learn, you help them to learn, and that's a mutual beneficial situation. What can be better? And of course, sales itself actually is let's say psychology of communication. So I have 2 kids, so I have to sell. I have the hardest sales I usually have in evenings and weekends. When somebody's fighting, angry, you have to sell for a kid. So understanding psychology of people is very, very important thing. While in your life. So 2 things: psychology and networking. Sorry? Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. You're right, and you have to be consistent. Because about the salespeople, they get the big commission on something, and they go for, vacation, for resting, etc. And then after a few months, they're in deep, well, what should be alternative to that? Sorry?
Pressure.
Deep pressure, thank you. Deep pressure, didn't mean that one. But so yeah, that's right. So you have to be consistent. and then deliver results. But also, that's an outcome. I also believe that. Sure, agree, totally agree. Yeah. Yeah, it's like in every type of profession. You have to invest in yourself. You have to learn. You have to do things you have to do. You have to go out of your comfort zone. So it's very simple. You have to. You're what we discussed, right? You're not confident enough, but you have to go for that meeting. Today I had a terrible headache, but I have to go there, right? The easiest thing is like say, Lurinas, let's cancel everything, but I have to go there. So yeah, sure, you have to be focused.
How you get them? Can I not use that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so my question is for example, like the opposite side, usually they have the competitor, like you have the competitors, okay? Yeah. And they have better options and you never know what are they, having, like what the key features they have, like at better ones. Mm-hmm. So, and when you finish let's say the meeting or the negotiation, you are never, you cannot be for sure that you are a better one. So how you deal with that?
That's a good.
How you know? Actually, you never know.
So that's
for real.
Yeah, for real. That's right. That's a very important thing. That's the one thing I learned last year. One of my customers, we have been working on a huge deal, and we believed that we already had it, and then we were like, oh, let's have a champagne and have fun, and then we went screwed. But so what does it mean? We haven't had the right questions. So the questions which open that. So I don't know if your customer, if your competitors have better features, some type of thing. So you ask your customers, what features you like about it? What brings you best value? Yeah, but honestly, the price is only in commodity level of business. Yeah, but because if you have a little bit of added value, there you can play the price difference. If you have bigger added value, you can play a bit higher price. Because what I said, I really don't like the price topic. As I said, I was selling my services. It's like close to twice as high as our competitors. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is a big difference. But also, if you're, I don't know, we have been working with a customer who is installing and manufacturing furnitures for hotels. So the price is very important there, right? Because it's like we're talking about millions, and if it is a huge hotel. Yeah, at the end, right? So, so if they're only focusing on the price, they're losing. I mean, I don't know, Ukrainians, Romanians doing the better job in terms of the pricing. But you have to have some references which can create your value, price difference. Also, you have to have some technological solutions, insights. You have to, do some added value on top of it. So whenever I go, like for many companies, they say our value proposition is the better price. It's like you are in short run, not long term, short term, not a long term business. So you have to find something added value. The price is very important, but it's not the key criteria for sure, in terms, except if we speak about commodity. Anybody else?
Okay, there is a belief that good salesmen can sell everything, and I believe it. So regarding to this, could you show us masterclass and, for example, to sell this workbook?
Well, do you actually need it?
Yes.
Why do you need it?
To write quotes.
And is it important to write quotes for you? Is it important to write them? And how often do you do that?
Maybe once a week.
Once a week?
Yes.
So do you actually need it?
Okay, you can keep it.
I'm not the good salesperson. There's a myth that can sell anything to anybody, right? If you have the right need, they can sell you. If you're not, you're not. There's one.
Thank you.
But you haven't sold it to you.
There was like a fight with different species. there was one lion and I would say maybe a rabbit. So it's you can't compare. Reflecting on your discussions, sales here, but I have a question. You mentioned before answering that person about the value and the good negotiations or the good sales pitch is when you talk with the client and you discuss the value you create for him. So my question would be how to count the value you create for your customer. Is there any techniques and so on?
That's a good question. There's a very nice book and sales methodology called gap selling, so that helps a lot. For example, what we discussed about the spin questions, right? So there is a situation, problem, implication. I mean, how you find out what type of problems, I don't know, some lost money, not earned income, or something delivering. Then you understand how, I don't know, is it the problem worth 200,000 euros? And if you're selling only, I don't know, 20,000 euros service, so you have on top of added value 180,000 euros. So that's how you come up with. But usually it's the questions. You have to understand what type of implications in terms of money or value the problem or the need is bringing to your customer. Then you find out how big is it. Then you just take out of the, I don't know, your service or product. And then you find out how big added value you put on top of it. That's very standard way how they do it. Laurinai?
I believe this is a pretty small area. May I tell something for a gentleman to his question? Because recently I had a training session, and I believe it could be a part of an answer, because how to calculate added value, the lady told that it is best to do it during a meeting with a customer. But for that, you need to create your own system, how you calculate added value in your proposal and to compare it with the major competitors. And calculate with the customer in the meeting, agree on that proposal, and it's an instant delivery. I'm just sharing my experience.
Yeah. Anyone else? It's really nice that there's so many questions. So anybody else? Okay. Hopefully I was not that boring with my presentation and my headache. So thank you for your time, attention, and listening. And good luck in your further challenges, guys. Thanks.